Masked ICE agents are walking the streets, but who are they really protecting? Is it the public or themselves? And when federal officers cover their faces, how do we know who's enforcing the law and who's impersonating it? Today, we break down why this isn't just policy, it's a public safety risk.
Oh, Senator Peters. Senator Peters is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, good to have you here. Welcome to the committee. General Bondi, leadership at DHS has claimed that ICE and others who are carrying out immigration enforcement activities and support are covering their faces to protect themselves from being doxxed. And certainly I fully understand those concerns and I appreciate those concerns, and I think they're real concerns. But I'm deeply concerned that the lack of identification during these activities is dangerous, both to the public as well as to the officers themselves. The public risk being harmed by individuals pretending to be immigration enforcement, which has already happened. We've seen that happen. And these officers also risk being injured by individuals who think they're basically being kidnapped or attacked by some unknown assailant. So my question for you, Attorney General Bondi, is given the number of DOJ employees currently conducting immigration enforcement activities in support of DHS, how are you going to ensure that the safety of the public and the officers, if they continue to not follow required protocol to identify themselves as law enforcement?
And Senator Peters, that's the first time that issue has come to me about them you're saying that law enforcement officers, when they cover their faces.
Right.
I do know they are being doxxed, as you said. They're being threatened. Their families are being threatened. You know,
Again, I get that, but they have to identify themselves. There is an insignia oftentimes. They have to identify themselves as law enforcement. People think, here's a person coming up to me, not identified, covering themselves. They're kidnapping. They'll probably fight back. That endangers the officer as well. And that's a serious situation. People need to know that they're dealing with a federal law enforcement official.
Senator, I would be happy to look at that issue with you and talk to all of our partner law enforcement agencies, but I can assure you that if they're covering their faces now, it's to protect themselves. But they also want to protect all citizens, and that's something we can work together on to ensure the safety of everyone and their families.
Yeah. And it's protecting themselves, too, if they identify themselves. It's not just the person, because someone's going to fight back if you just think a strange person with their face covered is throwing you into a van. Most people will resist that.
It sounds like you have a specific case, and I would
be
happy to talk to you about that at a later time, because I'm not aware of that happening. But I'd be happy to talk to you about that.
We'd be happy to do it. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Earlier this month, the administration announced it was launching an effort to ramp up immigration apprehensions by shifting more than 5,000 personnel from across federal law enforcement, including approximately 2,000 from within the Justice Department, away from their typical duties to focus on immigration-related cases, including targeting individuals whose status had been terminated by this administration. This effort is on top of previous directives for department officials to focus on immigration enforcement. Many of these officials impacted by these directives, unsurprisingly, say they're being forced to turn their attention away from other national security missions, including counterterrorism and cybersecurity. There has been public reporting that hundreds of FBI agents have been reassigned to immigration-related duties, and raising real concerns among agents themselves that the shift could hinder investigations into terror threats and espionage by China and Russia. And we have also heard concerns about resources being reoriented at the state and local level. Attorney General Bondi, I know the Justice Department officials have said that this president can walk and chew gum at the same time, and that you continue to hold all criminals accountable regardless of immigration status. But numerous reports on the ground from career government officials and some basic common sense would beg to differ. Given the attacks on Iran over the weekend, this issue has become even more salient, with threats from terrorists inspired by Iran, cyber attacks, often by Iran itself, or additional efforts by that regime to go after government leaders. So my question is, how are you ensuring that there are enough resources focused on the full range of national security threats, and there's no shortage of those, when so many of our DOJ resources are being reallocated to immigration enforcement?
I talked to Director Patel or Deputy Director Bongino 7 days a week. I speak to my National Security Division. We meet every single day. Emil Bovey, who's currently with us, is doing an incredible job in the national security space as well, helping us. We are doing everything. We are using our resources on all fronts. And when you say immigration, immigration is going hand in hand with the people who have come into our country through our borders. I think just over 1,500 illegal aliens from Iran are here. Chinese individuals, Russian individuals, people from every country. That goes hand in hand with immigration, identifying them, finding them, and getting them out of our country. Will national security be compromised? Not at all, Senator. It will be increased. It will be enhanced. I can tell you, every day we talk about this, multiple times a day, 7 days a week, as to what we can do, working hand in hand with DEA, ATF agents, FBI, Homeland Security, ICE, to make sure that our nation is safe. And FBI, they have a 24/7 center set up now. And actually, we've set some up around the country. And you're welcome to actually come see one if you would like anytime. I would love to have you come in and see what we do. But we have that set up around our country on a national security level to be sure Americans are safe and do everything we can to get terrorists who are in our country out of our country.
Well, certainly, I don't disagree with any of that. That do obviously criminal elements that are there need to be taken care of. But you're also looking at cybersecurity, which is different. You're looking at counterterrorism issues that are different. And I don't believe that we were over-resourced in those areas. You may beg to differ. So they were not over-resourced. We were making sure that they had the resources to deal with the other threats. But now those people are being pulled off of those jobs for another job. I just want to make sure that we're still doing things necessary to protect us from cyber threats, counterterrorism, and the long list of other threats that we face every day.
Thank you for those questions, and I know your background, and that's why it's so important to all of us. And yes, we are. And cybersecurity, I could go on for 2 hours about cybersecurity and what's happening. Not only that, the online child predators online, but the foreign terrorist threats through cybersecurity that we can talk about in a different setting. I'd be happy to discuss all of that with you and our efforts, not only made within our country, but with our partners worldwide.
Well, I'll look forward to having that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Senator.
Thank you.
Senator Gary Peters pressed Attorney General Pam Bondi on a question that strikes at the heart of public safety and accountability: ICE agents covering their faces during enforcement actions. On the surface, the explanation sounds reasonable. Agents are being doxxed, threatened, and need to protect themselves and their families. But Johnson's concerns and Peters' follow-up reveal a deeper problem. When federal officers are masked and lack clear identification, the public cannot tell whether they're dealing with legitimate law enforcement or someone impersonating them. This isn't just theoretical. Incidents of impersonation have already occurred. The danger isn't just to civilians. Officers themselves are put at risk. If a person doesn't know they're being approached by law enforcement, they may resist, and what should be a controlled procedure could turn violent in seconds. The lack of standardized identification during enforcement erodes trust, instills fear, and increases the risk of confrontations, all while attempting to protect those same officers. Peters also raised another critical point: the reallocation of Justice Department and federal law enforcement personnel to immigration enforcement. Thousands of agents, including FBI personnel, are being shifted away from core duties like counterterrorism and cybersecurity to focus on immigration-related cases. Career officials are worried that these shifts could hinder investigations into major threats, from cyber attacks to foreign espionage. Bondi insisted that national security is not compromised and claimed resources are being coordinated efficiently. But Peters' line of questioning forces the public to consider whether reallocating critical resources might leave vulnerabilities. This is more than a bureaucratic dispute. It's a clash between policy, human safety, and national security. Masked enforcement agents without clear identification create confusion and fear, while the diversion of personnel raises questions about priorities in protecting the nation. It forces us to ask, when the government shifts focus to high-profile enforcement initiatives, who ensures that citizens' safety, rights, and national security are not undermined? For viewers, this hearing highlights the delicate balance between law enforcement authority, public accountability, and resource management. It underscores why transparency, oversight, and discussion are essential to prevent policy decisions from causing unintended harm both to ordinary citizens and to the broader mission of national security. If you want analysis that breaks down what's really happening behind the headlines, don't just watch. Like this video and subscribe to Left Lens. We go beyond the sound bites to show how these decisions affect real people, public safety, and the country's security, and why staying informed matters now more than ever.